What's going on, everybody? You're listening to episode 21 of Trash Gear Radio. I'm your host, Tyler, joined today by the one and only Fragmaster himself,
Hello.
Lucas. Unfortunately, though, the sick man, Chance,
RIP.
he is not here right now.
Please send a tweet to our injured, sick friend. He might not make it out. You better send your prayers to Trash Gear Radio on Twitter.
At Trash Gear Sports on Twitter. You can tag Shrek in there as well and say, hey, feel better, bud. So it's just going to be a two-man duo today, just me and Lucas talking.
We'll do our best.
Yeah, we'll try our best on the old football conversation. Normally Chance leads that, but Lucas is definitely going to talk about a hockey experience that the whole Trash Gear group experienced together.
Stay tuned.
And I'm going to talk a little bit about some basketball, another update for the All-Star Award, and we'll see maybe who's going to sneak in and who's going to be left out. So, tell you what, Lucas, let's just get started with the football that happened this week. So there's 4 games, all good games.
Yeah, it was a good week of football. Actually entertaining for once.
So the first game was the Colts at Texans. It was a 21-7 blowout.
Yeah, ever since the Colts touched the ball for the first time, it was all Colts. The Texans, there's no hope for them that entire game.
Now, did you watch this game, Lucas?
I watched the whole game.
Now, what do you think was the reason why the Texans couldn't get anything going?
This is one thing I said before the game, and I think it helped a lot this game, was just the experience of Andrew Luck. Like Deshaun Watson, his first playoff game, was it Hopkins? He probably had a few, if that. But Andrew Luck is just his. He's starting to become a veteran quarterback, and I think he was just calm, cool the whole time. And Watson didn't have a good game.
Hey, he's not a rookie quarterback, but he is a very young quarterback. So
yeah.
I think it's very understandable that he would struggle like that, especially against the Colts, who's been a team that's recently been just on fire lately. So I think, did you predict the Texans to win or the Colts to win?
I had the Texans.
Okay, I know me and Chance picked the Colts to win on this one. So,
but I said it could go either way. I said if they played 100 times, they could win 50 of 50.
That is true. I do remember that. And like we said before, it was a 1-game difference between the two of them. Like if the Colts won one more game, I think they would have been the second team or third team in the division, and the Texans wouldn't have been. The second game, my Seahawks, they fell to them Cowboys. How about them Cowboys, Lucas?
Well, Dak Prescott, for once, actually played football.
He balled out.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. He balled out.
I honestly think that's the reason why they won. Ezekiel Elliott had a monster game as well, but if Dak Prescott wouldn't have played that well, they obviously wouldn't have won. And the Seahawks still could have. They almost came back to win it.
The Seahawks, did you see the onside kick that they tried to do?
Yeah.
It was like,
it was a joke.
What? They should have put that kicker out there with a pulled hamstring. He probably would have kicked it perfectly fine for that. Dude,
Yeah,
even if he had no hamstring whatsoever, man, he could have booted it.
They were desperate, but, it was another game that could have went either way. The Cowboys just played better.
See, I do think, though, that I think it's all about – I think this team runs just purely on Zeke's back. Like, Zeke had 26 carries for 137 yards. That's a 5.3 average per carry. So, that's great. And, that, if you're doing that, that opens up so much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it just takes some of the pressure off Dak.
Mm-hmm. And plus, also, watching that game, you realize Seattle, their game plan is to just run the football. That is their game plan, and then just have Russell Wilson throw just, deep balls or just try to pull them out. So, I thought it was unfortunate. I wish I could have seen Russell Wilson maybe try more offensive stuff in that sense that, maybe if his defense could have prevented Dak from getting that, I think it was, second and 16 or third and 16 and something like that.
Yeah, there were some clutch moments maybe where the Seahawks really shit the bed.
And Dak just ran a 16-yard run and just got the first down, on the goal line too.
Yeah.
And so it's you just can't have stuff like that. And if you look at it, if they would have stopped that, they probably could have won the game. Or at least if they would have had a kicker not pull a hamstring, they could have at least had a chance at an onside kick. So the Cowboys move on, but the Cowboys did look really good. I can't knock them. I thought they looked fantastic.
Yeah, they played good football.
So it will be curious to see them in the next game. Then we had the Chargers at Ravens.
This was a crazy game just because it wasn't very good.
Well, so here's the thing: the final score was 23-17, but that did not tell the story of that game whatsoever.
No, because each team scored. LA scored 11 points in the third, and Baltimore scored 14 in the fourth. The whole game before that was boring.
It was at least whenever because I think I only watched the last quarter of it. It seemed like it was just Chargers were in control of it the whole time, and I think Lamar Jackson had I want to say like 46 throwing yards before the fourth quarter or something like that. It was something horrible.
Yeah, it was terrible.
And he ended with something pretty good. I know he actually almost brought them back to win. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah, they almost did it. They should have won that game if they would have played the way they did the fourth quarter. They would have blown out the Chargers.
And it came down to Lamar Jackson fumble at the end, which that's what he has done. He had led the league in fumbles, I think, for his time being a starting quarterback. So I know a lot of people complain saying that they should have given Flacco a shot. Lucas, what's your opinion about that?
There's no way that would have been any better.
No.
I mean, you don't know for sure. Like, maybe he could have came out cold, not playing for weeks, like in your head that you're not the starter. I mean, you never know. But Flacco's had some bad playoff games as well. But like, it's Lamar's team now. He won the past how many weeks? He got them into the playoffs, and he just had a rough game.
Well, and plus my thing is that if you're Baltimore and you're looking towards the future, obviously Flacco is not your future, and Lamar Jackson is, at least for right now. So if you are Lamar Jackson, if you're the Ravens, wouldn't you want Lamar to have that playoff experience at least know what it's like? And plus, he almost led them back to win. So now instead of benching him on such a low, he built himself back up that you can say, hey, look, you had that shitty first half, that second, or you had that shitty 3 quarters. Now you have the one good quarter. So at least now going forward, you can build upon that.
Yeah, and imagine if Flacco would have went in and they would have lost. Like, then it would have been, oh, you should have kept Lamar in. Like, it was just the right move. Like I said, it's his team now.
All right. The fourth and final playoff game from last week was the Eagles at Bears.
And a double donger,
dude,
to end the game.
Wild, man.
It's wild.
The kicker kicked it. It was technically a blocked field goal, technically. So you can't say he missed it. Well, I mean, you can, but it was technically a blocked field goal.
Technically, but he, I don't even think it adjusted the ball. It looked like he barely hit, a fabric on that dude's hand.
Well, so see, here's the thing. They did the standard icing a kicker, okay?
Yeah.
And to set the scene for the audience, it was, I think, 3 seconds left in the game. I think it's like a 40-yard field goal for the kicker. He comes out. He goes to kick the first one. Boom. Philadelphia calls that timeout and ices him. But he still goes through and kicks, and he makes it directly down the middle in that first kick, okay? Which anytime I see that, I always think you don't kick it. Never kick it.
Yeah, it's going to be in your head.
Because if you make it, it's like, shit, there's the one that I was going to make. Or if you miss it, then it's like, shit, what if I miss this next one? Or it could go the other way and say, hey, I missed that one, I'm going to make this one. But then it came back, kicked it a second time, and Eagles lineman blocked it, and it bounced off one of the uprights. And
that crossbar.
And then fell down and bounced off the crossbar. It was crazy. Never seen before. And Big Dick Nick, man.
He didn't have a good game. He played, obviously enough to win, but he had 2 interceptions compared to Trubisky, who played a great game. He had over 300 yards with a touchdown. Eagles had no run game. The Bears, I think the Bears should have won. It just came down to key plays at the right moments for the Eagles and just a shitty field goal.
Well, so I think the unfortunate thing about this is, if you look at the Bears, they're not one of these new offensive-based teams. They're such a defensive-based, slug-em-out team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think the way, watching the end of that game, they thought, the coaching staff said, hey, we have the number 1 ranked defense. We're going to put it in our defense's hands. And then whenever Nick Foles goes down and gets the scoring touchdown or gets the game-winning drive, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, now we got to, I guess, bank on Mitch Trubisky to get us there the rest of the way. So I think defense is very important in this league, but I also think you can't just do smoke and mirrors of just having an average or below average quarterback and thinking that you can just get all the way there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's still so young, and that was his first playoff game. The Eagles are coming off a Super Bowl win, so they know what the playoffs are like. They know how to win in these situations. And I think the Bears are obviously going to stay good next year, and just another year for Trubisky.
But now the bigger story, Big Dick Nick, 1 win closer to being back-to-back Super Bowl MVP champion of the world.
It's coming.
Lucas, what are these Eagles going to do, man?
I don't know. This is such a fucked situation. There's just no answer.
Before I didn't want the Eagles to win, and I just kind of hoped that they would just, lose and not even get in the playoffs. But now I really, really want the Eagles to win right now.
I want them to win just because it's a fucking meme. How funny would it be if the Philadelphia won 2 Super Bowls with a backup quarterback.
With
Back to
Carson
back.
Wentz standing right there on the side.
Like, that's such a funny situation.
Well, then it's like, what do you even do at that point? You know what I mean?
Who knows?
It's like, do you just let it, because he's a free agent now, so they can either, I think he has like a $20 million option that the team can pick up, but I'm pretty sure Nick Foles is able to actually decline it. So it's one of those things where it's like, what do you do?
I don't know. I wonder if Nick, like, how he thinks. Like, do you think he thinks he can go on the open market and get a couple years, or do you think he thinks he's a one-by-one quarterback?
So here's my thing. I think it depends on where Nick Foles is at. If he's at the point in his career where he thinks, hey, I have my Super Bowl. You know, I have my Super Bowl MVP. I am idolized forever in the city of Philadelphia. I just need to cash in now while I still can. Then yeah, I'm thinking he's gonna hit the open market. But if he thinks, man, I kind of got it made here in Philadelphia, I'm gonna take not necessarily a pay cut, but I'm gonna be the highest paid backup quarterback, and I'm just gonna ride that out. And then maybe, who knows, maybe he signs like a 2-year extension or something with Philadelphia. And then whenever Carson Wentz, because Carson Wentz I think has a couple years left on his deal, on his rookie deal. And the second Carson Wentz is up for his deal, you're not paying 2 quarterbacks. You're not paying a star young quarterback and a like the best backup quarterback in the league, because you're just gonna be. I mean, you're gonna be paying so much out the ass that it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, you have to find a way to keep both.
So I really, really, really want to see what happens. Like, I hope the Eagles win, because could you just imagine what they would be like? I just hope the Eagles fan base would just rip themselves in half, because they would be so pissed because they wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah, torn between Foles and Wentz.
They would be like, oh, you got to keep Fultz, or not Fultz, you got to keep Wentz, you got to keep.
You just can't count against fucking big
dick
cocked Nick.
Dude, it's still working, man. Like, that's the best part, is it's such a meme that just keeps going, you know? All right, Lucas, that was pretty much playoffs. I thought it was a great week of playoffs.
Yeah, it was fun. Every game could have went either way, except for the Colts. They dominated the whole time.
Yeah, the Colts kind of destroyed. So quickly, I want to cover, there was a bunch of new coaches that are also hired.
A lot of coaches.
There was a lot. A lot of them were kind of suspicious. A lot of them were not so suspicious. But the interesting thing is the Cardinals hired their new coach. He was a former coach now of Texas A&M. And back probably a couple months ago, he said that he would take Kyler Murray number 1 overall, which, ironically, the Cardinals have the number 1 overall pick. And he just declared for the draft today. Granted, he also was picked 9th overall by the Oakland Athletics for baseball. So I'm pretty sure if he gets drafted by a football team, he can actually decide whether or not he stays to play football or not. Like, it's not like I'm guaranteed to play, or not like, boom, I have to play football. He can still back out of it. Lucas, do you think it'd be dumb for them to go after? Well, this is a twofold question. First, do you think it would be dumb for them to pick Kyler Murray first, number 1 overall, and then, because they just have Josh Rosen, they just got him last year.
Yeah, I don't know. It's still too early to tell on Rosen. He, like you said, he's a rookie. He has so much to learn. He has a long way to go. If this coach is anything like he says he is, he could like raise Rosen. He can make him into quarterback. Like, obviously the other guy, he's number 1 for a reason. He's gonna get playing time wherever he goes. I think it comes down to, if he goes to a baseball team, is he, like, you're not guaranteed to start.
No, so from my understanding, the process of a baseball team is that he would go there. He was a first round 9th overall pick, so he is in their plans for the future.
Yeah, but you could be in the minors for like 5 years before you come up.
Exactly,
But
it's one of those things.
The NFL, he's starting his first year.
So I think it depends on what does he want to do.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And
you'll make more money in baseball probably in the long run, and you'll last longer, like, in life.
Mm-hmm.
But
but it's also at the same time, you don't look at star baseball players the same way you look at the star quarterback.
Yeah, and then back to the Cardinals, you can keep Rosen. Mm-hmm. Like, he's still young, he has a lot of potential. So why would you waste another pick on a quarterback? Number 1 picks don't come around all the time.
So that's the thing, is that quarterbacks are very important for a franchise. If you do not have a franchise quarterback, you're fucked.
Yeah, but you don't know what Rosen's capable of. So it's a huge gamble.
Yeah.
If Rosen goes somewhere else and does good, then you just shot yourself in the foot.
Well, so see, here's the other thing that they thought about, or that was brought up today, at least on ESPN, was that what if you get a quarterback, you get, the quarterback first overall, and then you trade. You see who's better, and then you trade one or the other. You either trade the number 1 overall pick or you trade Rosen.
I mean, that could work.
The
I guess.
idea, Lucas, for your New York Giants was brought up that you call them up, you say, hey, we'll take Odell Beckham, and you guys can have Josh Rosen. And you'd also probably have to get a pick, too, as well. The Cardinals would get the pick, not the Giants. Would you do that deal, Lucas?
I don't know. I think it's still too early to tell. It's like either way, it's just a huge gamble. Like you don't know what's gonna happen. Like it's just.
I'm just curious to see, because I think it'd be really funny for a coach to get in there, instantly fuck up last year's.
Yeah, like you're
draft.
just gonna off of a huge gamble. You don't know what's gonna happen.
Oh, because imagine if you traded him away and he became like an all-star, like an
Yeah.
all-pro quarterback, and then you got like a bust or something.
Yeah,
like
like
that.
what if he plays 1 year and can't handle it and he never plays again? Like half of the Browns' young quarterbacks.
All right, Lucas. Well, let's talk some predictions for next week. So even though Chance is not here physically, he is still here emotionally, and he told us he wants us to say a couple words for the games. So we're gonna start with the first game is the Colts at Kansas City. Lucas, do you want to read what Chance said, or do you want me to read?
We'll read them back and forth. So
Okay.
I'll get this one.
You get the first one.
All right, so Indy versus Kansas City. This is quote from Shrek. I'm taking the Colts in this one. Chiefs are going to be rusty after not playing for a week, while the Colts are riding the wave of momentum from dominating the Texans during the wild card round. So I'm going with the Colts.
End quote.
Quote. That was Shrek.
Lucas, how do you feel about that?
I think it sounds great. I'm going to go Colts as well for the same reason that they're riding hot, one of the hottest teams in the league. Destroy the Texans. Chiefs, like, you could look at it being rusty or they could be rested. I think it could be either one. I don't know. It's going to be another close game. It all comes down to defense, I think, and the Colts have that. I'm picking Colts.
And the Chiefs have the worst defense.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Kansas City is generally cursed whenever it comes to playing at home. I think they're on like a 6-game losing streak of home.
Yeah,
playoff
their playoffs
games.
sucks at home.
But you know what the problem was before?
Alex Smith.
They didn't have Patty Mahomes. You know who they have now, Lucas?
Pat Mahomes.
Pat Mahomes.
The third.
The third. Is he actually the third?
Second or third, yeah.
The ketchup connoisseur himself. All right? And so originally I was going to go Colts. But I actually think I'm going to go against the grain from you two. And I think I'm going to go Kansas City on this one. I think the offensive weapons that Kansas City has, and plus they are well rested. And the Colts did just have to play. I mean, a week of rest is probably worth so much to those football players. You know what I mean? So for that reason, I'm hoping that the Kansas City Chiefs curse is over. And I'm going to go with Kansas City on this one.
It could happen.
All right, the next game on Saturday night is the Dallas Cowboys at the Los Angeles Rams. Now, see, fun fact about this one, the Rams head coach actually went on radio and pretty much begged for home fans to show up because apparently it's supposed to be shitty, rainy weather in L.A. Now, apparently out in L.A., if it's raining, no one goes out. So he's actually afraid that it's going to be more of a away environment than a home environment.
I hope so. Cowboys travel well.
And plus the Rams have like no home field advantage as it is anyway because they play in fucking a college field.
Yeah.
So, all right, I'll read what Chance has to say about this one. Cowboys have a legit defense, but is their offense good enough to keep up with the Rams? ? I say no. Todd Gurley is coming back healthy after resting for 2 weeks, and I don't believe in Dak. Rams win this one. End quote.
So again, Shrek hit it right on the money. Like I think LA has a better chance for all those reasons. It's going to be interesting to see how Gurley does. We know Zeke, he is on fire. It all comes down again to Dak. What kind of Dak are we getting? Like last week,
he looked good.
He played out of his mind, or is he going to get average choke Dak? I think he's going to choke. I think Goff has another year in him. He's going to win.
So, Dak did look really good last game. And Todd Gurley has been injured. But I still feel that the Rams are overall a better team. And I think they have a
the
better
sack leader, Aaron Darnold.
Yeah, and I think I also think the other thing is somehow Myles Garrett was able to outcoach Pete Carroll last game, and I don't think he's going to be able to outcoach how do you pronounce his name? McNaghy or something? No.
Who? L.A.?
Yeah, who's
Sean McVay?
Sean McVay. Why am I saying Pat? Never mind, my bad. Sean McVay. I don't think he's going to be able to outcoach McVay. So for that fact, I'm also going to go with the Rams on this one. All right, Luke's next one is the Los Angeles / San Diego Chargers at the cold-ass New England Patriots.
All right, this is from Shrek again. The Patriots have not looked like the Patriots this season. That being said, they still got the second seed and a first-round bye. The Chargers looked good last week against Baltimore up until they started to collapse in the fourth quarter. Can they come into Foxborough and beat the Patriots? I believe they can. And the key to this game is going to be getting pressure on Tom Brady. The Chargers have Joey Bosa and Melvin Ingram just for that job. I'm going with the Chargers.
From Shrek.
From Shrek.
Lucas, do you agree or disagree with this?
So this is a tough one because the Patriots have not looked like themselves, but they're still obviously the second seed. They're a good team. The Chargers, phenomenal regular season, but they have started falling apart in the latter halves of their games. Bosa and Ingram, they're playing out of their minds on defense. That's going to be huge. But you can't really count against Tom Brady.
Can't do it.
He always goes to the Super Bowl.
You can't go against Tom Brady.
I want the Chargers to win because I'm a big Rivers guy, but I think Rivers is going to choke. I think this is going to be too much for him at Foxborough. I'm picking the GOAT, Cool Tom.
So I'm pretty sure it's actually supposed to be like cold 6 inches of snow up in New England for this game. So you're going to take a bunch of warm Californian boys and throw them up into that cold New England setting?
About as cold as Belichick's heart.
Exactly. No, I think you can't count against Tom Brady until he loses. You know what I mean? Think about it. At the beginning of the year, we thought this is the end of Tom Brady and all that. And they were one game away from being the number one. They were no. They weren't one game. They were one play. If Gronk had any lateral movement,
or if there's anybody else back there,
literally, they would be the number one seed. Think about that, Lucas.
Yeah.
Because they have the tiebreaker over Kansas City. They are one play away from being the number one seed. And at the beginning of the year, we thought, this is it. They're done. No more. You can't count against them. So for that reason, I'm picking New England. I don't want to see this. Yep. I want San Diego to win. I want Phillip Rivers to get that Super Bowl ring. That way, it's a class with Ben Roethlisberger and Eli Manning.
I agree.
And people can finally start having that conversation without being like, oh, Phillip doesn't have a Super Bowl ring. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But you can't count against New England. You can't count against Tom Brady.
It's a wild.
All right, Lucas. Last playoff game. This one's for all the marbles. The Philadelphia Eagles at the New Orleans Saints. Which, quick side note, Saints head coach, in order to inspire his boys and rally the troops, goes in there with the championship trophy from, I think, 2009. Sits it on a fat stack of $250,000, and he looks at his players and he says, "Win 3 fucking games, and we win, and you get this."
Big dick energy, Sean Payton.
Lucas, are you about that? Are you about that move? Is that a boss move right there?
It's a boss move. $225,000 is probably a pocket change to the football players.
Hey man,
but
that's your Super Bowl bonus right
bonus, there. I'm sure it was probably like lit, like being in there intense. I'm sure he did it like so serious. It's probably pretty hype, but I'm about it.
See, I'm definitely about it, but at the same time, like, what happens if you fuck up?
Oh yeah.
What happens if Big Dick Nick comes in and just fucking wrecks your shit? Now, this being said, the Eagles did lose by like a 40-point blowout at New Orleans earlier on in the year behind Carson Wentz, not behind Big Dick Nick.
Yeah, they only are in this game because of a field goal post. So I mean.
So, Lucas, or I guess
read
I tell you what, Lucas, I want to hear what you have to say before I read Chance. He's not here.
Well, I don't know. Obviously, the Saints are a better team. Probably by, like, twice the team Philly is overall. Better quarterback, better defense, just better offense in general. But Nick Foles is still quarterback. So that just throws it into a loop. I don't know who to pick because he wins games for some reason. And the Saints, they've lost some pretty bad games this year in the regular season for no reason. That could happen again. Like, they could play bad, even though they're at home, which is a huge advantage for New Orleans. I want to pick my man Nick just because I think he can do it. Like, I legit think they can win, but I'm picking the Saints.
You're picking the Saints.
Because I think they're just a better team.
So,
and Drew Brees wants another bowl.
So, I'm at the point now where I care more about the story in this playoff than I do about the actual teams. Nothing would bring me more delight to have Nick Foles win and beat the Saints. Mainly because then we could then throw it in Chance's face, A. B,
Chance might neck if they lose.
Nick Foles will be a 2-time back-to-back Super Bowl MVP, assuming.
Yeah.
That is wild, dude.
It's insane.
Carson Wentz is going to have two Super Bowl rings and not even throw a single football in the playoffs. Think about that. So, for that reason, and that reason alone, I expect the Saints to win 100%, but I really, really want the Eagles to win. So, I'm going to pick Philadelphia.
I agree.
Lucas, I'm going to give you a guess to see who do you think Chance picked for this.
I mean, I read his thing, but he was going to pick
mind.
the Saints anyway.
Okay, never mind. I was hoping you didn't read it.
No, I read them this morning.
Okay, so from Chance. Last week we saw the magical powers of Big Dick Nick in action. Big. I'm guessing he probably meant to put Big Dick.
Nice typo, Chance.
Big Nick swung his huge dong just as the Bears kicker Cody Parkey attempted a game-winning field goal. The force from his massive dong changed the wind direction and forced the kick to hit off both the post and the crossbar, allowing the Eagles to advance. Sean Payton, head coach of the Saints, understands the power he's about to face. So this week he rolled a cart of $250,000 in cash and a Lombardi trophy into the Saints locker room and said, "You want this? Win 3 fucking games," and walked out. This week the Saints are going to castrate Big Dick Nick and send the defending Super Bowl champs home. I'm picking Saints.
Sick prediction.
Wow. I tell you what, I feel just throttled right now about this game. I can't wait to sit there and watch it.
It's going to be good.
Do you think this is like bulletin board material for the Eagles? Do you think like Sean Payton doing that, is that like a bulletin board
Oh,
move?
they're probably laughing about it. They're probably trying not to think about it, but it probably rattled them.
You think they're like, fuck, dude?
Yeah.
They're coming in with that big dick energy.
Because their coach probably gave them like fucking ice cream cone or something.
All right, Lucas, that right there is our predictions. So we'll see how it goes. I don't even know how we did last week. I feel like I did ass last week.
I think I got 3-1.
Wow.
Or, yeah, no, 2-2 because I picked the Seahawks and the fucking Texans.
That is true. Maybe I went 3-1. I don't know who the hell. I don't even remember who I picked. Playoffs, man, they're just too intense. You don't know.
You never know.
All right, Lucas, why don't you talk a little bit some hockey for us?
All right, before we get into the Penguins talk, this is just around the league. We got Nikita Kucherov. He leads the league in both assists points. He's the fastest player to reach 70 points since 1993. Like, he's on track for like 140 points, which is just
That's a lot of points.
It's unheard of like nowadays.
Like back in the day, were they just scoring goals?
Yeah,
left
they
and right?
had like 100-point seasons, no big deal. But yeah, he's insane. Tampa Bay is insane. All right, now on to the Penguins. Since our last broadcast, we've played 3 games and we went 2-1. So on Friday, the Jets were at Pittsburgh. Penguins scored 4 goals. The Jets scored 0. We had a lot of depth scoring. It was huge for the team. And Matt Murray posted a 33-save shutout. So he was on fire. On Sunday, the Blackhawks were at Pittsburgh again, and the Blackhawks won 5-3. And it's just something with Chicago that the Penguins can't win. It's literally their kryptonite. They haven't beat the Blackhawks since 2010, which is just unreal. Also in net for the Penguins that night was Casey DeSmith, which he only saw 26 of 30. The Pens were up early, but they blew the lead. They've been having problems with that a lot lately, even though they've been winning. But if Matt Murray would have been net, who knows how that would have went.
Who would have known?
All right, then on Tuesday, the Panthers were at Pittsburgh, and some awesome news about this game is Trash Gear Radio was in attendance.
We were there.
So
Close.
the 3 of us went to check out that game. We had 6 seats.
I caught a puck.
Yeah, Tyler caught a puck in his mouth.
It was hot.
We were running late because of fucking traffic. While we were walking up the escalators, they scored a fucking goal like a minute into the game. Who
scored it?
It was Tanner Pearson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they scored like a minute and a half into the game. When we were buying our beer, like 30 seconds later, fucking another goal goes in.
Rust.
So, that was Rust. It was a sick move. So they scored 2 goals before we even got to our seats.
He didn't even touch the goalie for that one, too. That was the crazy thing.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't look like he did.
It was a sick move. It was a awesome game. It was very entertaining. So many fights. Tyler was like, "Oh, I just want to see a fucking hockey fight," and literally like 5 seconds later, there was a fight.
Because like fights make it good.
Oh, it was sick. There was fights, a lot of hits.
But that fight wasn't a good fight. The second one was the better fight.
The second one with Aston Reese was sick. Some sick goals by Rust. He had 2 again. 2 shorthanded goals in one game. Unreal. And Murray posted a fucking phenomenal game. 36 saves on 37 shots. Even the one went in, it was borderline goalie interference. He could have had a huge shutout. 8 straight wins for Murray. He's playing phenomenal. If that keeps up, we're a wagon. But it still comes down to Murray. Pens are 11-2 in their last 13. One of the hottest teams in the league. Huge West Coast road trip coming up. They're in California this weekend. 5 games over the next 2 weeks. 2 back-to-back games. It's going to be a huge test, a long road trip. Then we're going into the week All-Star break after that road trip. So Pens are on fire. It's a good time for hockey.
So, from my perspective, that hockey game was, I think as the kids would say, lit AF.
Lit.
So, yeah, we did miss the first 2 goals somehow. We just lucked into that one. But I will also say the difference from being in the 200 section and the 100 section, you see a lot of different people.
Yep.
Way different people. In the 200 section, there was people like cussing out the refs left and right. In that 100 section, dude, no one even said a word. It was awesome.
Yeah, you're so close. You just want to watch the game.
However, did you see the creepy guy in front of us?
Yeah, there was a lot of creepy dudes.
So, okay, the creepy guy in front of us, he was probably like 60 years old, probably 300 pounds, okay? Did you see the girl, the girls to her right who were trying to get on the camera?
Oh, I know.
Yeah, okay, so there was 3 ladies who were trying to get on the camera to the right of us, a couple rows back. The creepy old guy in front of us is looking at him, waving them down to sit in like the 4 seats beside it. Did you see that, Lucas?
I did not see that at all.
Oh, dude, it was so weird.
I was too busy watching the Rockets on my left, trying to get on camera. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, Lucas.
Yeah.
We gotta redefine your term of rocket
And
there.
they were on the camera on the big screen. My fucking hands were in there clapping. So technically, I made it on the jumbotron.
Look at that, Lucas.
My hands.
You're there.
Yeah. So.
And I also, because I know so many respected reporters and athletes listen to this podcast, I actually have to apologize to Matt Murray.
Thank you.
He was wild
He was
last
phenomenal.
night. I mean, truly impressive as hell. Now, also, granted, I don't know what other goalies are like up close, but wow, I respect the goalie position so much more now. That is crazy.
He played good for you.
The amount of shots and like how you have to throw your body and stuff, it was crazy. It was honestly like awesome just to see him like throw his body around and catch it and shit like that, because it's like you don't even see it. Like you just
yeah,
boom.
It's so fast up close.
However, it was funny people seeing whenever like the puck hit the glass, like people like that. Like, come on,
Rookies,
man. I wasn't even. I did that one time, but that was just to be an ass. So
Yeah.
Lucas, when's the next trash tier 2? The Pens.
I don't know. We got to keep looking for tickets. That was a fun time.
Dude, there was a band that performed. I wish we would have got their name.
Yeah,
of that
live band. They were sick. It was 70s night, so Iceberg was dressed as Elvis. So, like, all the Jumbotron was like retro.
There was like 4 people.
Yeah, there weren't that many people dressed up compared to other nights. I went to Star Wars night and like half the people were dressed up.
When was it? Was it on a weekend or was it on like during?
It was
the
on a
weekday?
weekday.
Oh, okay. Well,
But,
see, I figured.
I mean, no one dressed up as 70s. That's just a weird theme to have.
It's like
I see
but
maybe
Star
even
Wars.
80s, or 90s, but it was still pretty cool. They had like big disco ball. Live band was cool. But yeah,
Lucas, how much did you want to kill the people behind us?
They're just fucking old people, probably in their 50s, 60s. Just you could tell it's probably their first hockey game ever. They're out on this fucking date somehow, and they're obviously from the 70s because they were in their fucking heaven with all this music and shit. Kept singing the songs. They had no idea what was going on. We're literally like 10 rows up from the ice, and this lady behind us, I can't see anything. I should have brought my binos. Should have brought my binoculars.
No, but she said binos. That's how you know
or
she's
whatever.
old.
I couldn't remember, but she didn't know any of the players' names. She didn't know what was going on. She just kept singing songs, complaining. It was the worst.
Now, in all honesty, though, I probably would not know any of the players' names.
Yeah, if you're not saying it out loud, screaming it.
No, I was just whispering it to you slowly. Like, hey, what's that guy? So it was cool, and it was also really funny trying to see Rust go for that hat trick, because you could tell whenever he was on the ice, man, he was just fucking shit.
Oh yeah, if someone scores 2 goals and you're winning, they're gonna try to get you that 3rd goal. Like the coaches try to do that for you.
They're just flinging it, man.
It was a good time.
Great time. I'll have to do it again.
And that's hockey talk.
Hockey talk. So, but now we're going to go over to some basketball news here, which we did not attend any basketball games.
No.
Not yet.
It's not really possible, unless you want to drive 2 hours.
Unless you want to drive to Cleveland, Lucas. Or we could always go to a college basketball, but I really don't like
I
college.
like watching Pitt. It's fun.
I'd go to
It's a
Pitt
good
game.
stadium.
If us three went to a Pitt game, I would consider it. But I'm not going to go to a
Yeah,
Pitt
we'll look
game.
into it.
Not with my Penn State blood running deep in me. So last week I talked about a little bit about the All-Stars, how the first round of awards came out, or at least the first rounds of voting came out. So there's another update. And before I kind of poked out that, it was weird because the rookie from Dallas, Luka Doncic, was leading, and so was Derrick Rose from the Timberwolves, was also really high up there. So the next wave came out, and Derrick Rose is still number 2 in the Western Conference guards.
Didn't Derrick Rose tell everyone to kill themselves?
Okay, so yeah, so pretty much
What a sick league.
Yeah, in an interview they pretty much said about his doubters and his haters and stuff, and he pretty much came back with they can kill themselves if they don't believe in me. Within like 3 hours he apologized and kind of took that sort of rebuttal, but you still really can't say that.
Yeah.
But so now currently LeBron leads all vote getters with 2,700,000 or 2,700,000, almost 800,000. So right behind him is Luka Doncic, Paul George, Kevin Durant, Anthony Davis. And then for the Western Conference guards, it's leading is Steph Curry with 2 million votes, almost 2,100,000. Behind him is Derrick Rose, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, and Klay Thompson. Which we'll talk a little bit more about Klay in a minute here. Front for the East Conference, the front court is led by Giannis Antetokounmpo at 2.6 million votes, followed by Kawhi Leonard, Joel Embiid, Jason Tatum, and Jimmy Butler. And then for the Eastern Conference, the guards are Kyrie Irving leading the way with Dwayne Wade right behind him.
Surprising.
Well, so this is Dwayne Wade's last year. He's retiring after this year.
So it's just like a
It's kind of like
respect thing.
Yeah, it's a respect to one of the probably top 5 shooting guard ever. Then, after Dwayne Wade, who's sitting at 2, it's Kemba Walker, Ben Simmons, and Victor Oladipo. So, I'm curious to see because, for me personally, Jason Tatum is not an all-star. He's really good. People will say Luka Doncic shouldn't get in just because he's a rookie, and rookies normally don't make all-star games. Then some people would even argue that Derrick Rose shouldn't be in there, but I actually don't have a problem with Derrick Rose being in the all-star game just because of how much of a kind of icon he is in the sense that he's the youngest MVP ever. So it'd be really cool to see him, especially from where he went to where he is now. It'd really be really cool to see him. But some news: DeMarcus Cousins for the Golden State Warriors will be coming back soon. I think he's eyeing in January 18th is his eyeing, and he was actually out with an Achilles injury. So he tore his Achilles heel.
Yikes.
Yeah, and he's a big dude too. He's not a small guy. So that alone is a horrible injury for basketball players especially, let alone if you're, 7 foot tall, like 300 pounds. That's a bad injury. But luckily, DeMarcus Cousins is center, but he really doesn't use his athleticism. He's more of a skilled center. So he'll probably be coming back, and the Golden State Warriors will probably be starting 5 All-Stars. So that's pretty cool.
Are they still like the best team in the league?
So actually they're struggling this year. They're actually looking really weak. Draymond Green is he's bad this year. He is not good.
I don't like him.
No one does. So before people would leave him wide open, at least like he was kind of like an afterthought on defense. At least like for the other team to defend him. People are leaving him wide open now because he cannot make a shot. And it's really funny because he wanted to get a Supermax deal, which is like a 5-year, $190 million deal or something like that. But he can only get that if he's on the All-NBA team, which he's not going to be on, or if he's MVP or Finals MVP, or if he's Defensive Player of the Year, which he got a couple years ago. So that's what he was going for this year. Well, he's sucking this year.
Yeah.
So originally, the Golden State Warriors were going to be in this dilemma of that if you have 5 All-Stars, how are you going to pay all of them? Well, if your one All-Star deteriorates and you don't have to pay him like that, then it looks out pretty good. So
It helps.
yeah, that's for sure. So, but the other thing is that Klay Thompson recently, he had a game where I think he scored 42 points on like 4 dribbles or something like that.
Yep. 42 points and 4 dribbles.
It was just stupid. He's such a good shooter. He's probably the second best shooter ever.
Oh, it's insane.
And like, I don't know, Lucas, did you actually watch the video of it or anything?
I watched the highlights of it, yeah, but like just for like obviously him making 42 points is unbelievable, but also his team for feeding him the ball and not forcing him to dribble. Like he's just in his spot and they're feeding him every time and it's working. It's a good recipe for success.
Yeah. And now, see, here's the thing with the Golden State, though, is that you got to remember. So he was able only to take, like you said, he only had to take 4 dribbles to score those 42 points. If you're the other team, don't you think, man, I should really defend him?
Yeah, we step up on him or don't let him catch a pass,
But then you know what the problem is with that, Lucas?
then it leaves the bottom open.
You know who you leave open?
I don't know who plays center.
You leave Steph Curry. You leave Kevin Durant.
Yeah, like KD.
Wide open.
Yeah.
Or you're just not double teaming them as much.
Yes.
So it's just one of those things where it's like
They just have that many good players. You just have to take the lesser of the fucking
you
Eagles.
just. I guess you let Klay Thompson go for 40, but you just hope to God Steph Curry and Kevin Durant go for 40. You know what I mean?
And they were all pretty much quick releases too. So I mean, it would have been a major game changer for for them to guard that.
Like I said, the Golden State Warriors, as much as I don't like them, they are such a good basketball team, and they play basketball the right way because they were feeding Klay the whole time. So in that sense, I'm glad. I really hope in the offseason Kevin Durant leaves, and I hope that it just goes back to Steph, Klay, and maybe Draymond on one team, and then Kevin Durant goes somewhere, gets his own team. DeMarcus Cousins goes to whoever's the highest bidder, and then basketball is kind of restored to a normal. Hey, we just have we have 6 good teams that could win at any given point instead of one powerhouse team, and then everyone else trying to catch up to them.
Are there going to be any more super teams before the year's over, before the trade deadline?
Probably not. It depends. So if the Lakers can somehow get a hold of Anthony Davis, maybe, and then in free agency they could sign someone else, but that I don't think Anthony Davis is going to go to the Lakers. I think it would take him literally saying, I am only going to play for Los Angeles, no one else. Don't even try to trade for me because I'm not going to stay. But he doesn't seem like that kind of guy. So I'm not expecting that. Other than that, maybe Kemba Walker would be traded, maybe Kevin Love to be traded. There's really because everyone's in an arms race right now, so it's kind of hard to get rid of stars whenever you're in an arm race, And plus, stars sell tickets, and you got to remember it's a business all in all. Also, Tom Thibodeau, owner of the Dimsdale Dividend,
There it is.
He was recently fired or let go of his coaching after a blowout win of the Lakers at home. Apparently, the GM and the GM walked in and pretty much fired him. Said, "Hey, you're done." And they brought in a interim head coach, son of Flip Saunders, which is actually a coaching legend in Minnesota. He died, unfortunately, a couple years ago with cancer. So his son's now coaching. And he's only 32 years old. That's the crazy thing. His son's only 32 and he's coaching. He's the youngest head coach right now.
Probably players older than that. LeBron's older than that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, literally. And so so they're kind of doing that to see, what's going to happen. But the other ironic thing is everyone always joked about how the Timberwolves are the Timber Bulls because they got all of the Bulls former players. The Timberwolves are apparently eyeing up the Bulls' former head coach that they fired after Tom Thibodeau.
Maybe that's because they have players that played with them.
Well, so apparently his whole thing was that whenever he was at the Bulls, they really didn't put a bunch of people around him. Fred Hoiberg is the coach's name. So now that they have younger players and can probably actually do some decent amount with it. So it's just curious. Wait to see. So we'll I guess kind of with the NFL season winding down, we're going to be talking about other sports, not just NFL for 40 minutes.
Cricket, lacrosse,
golf,
billiards.
We're going to try ice golf.
We're going to talk about golf. I like golf. I want to get golf in the summer.
We're going to have to go.
I used to golf hard. Took a couple-year break. Started golfing again last year. Felt good.
I feel like I got to get clubs. That's my problem.
Good clubs. That's a sport. You have the money makes you better.
Yeah, that is very true. So, Lucas, that is the end of our sports conversation. But
Rip.
since Chance is not here today, we can take advantage of this opportunity. Okay?
Okay.
We can talk about some Netflix stuff that's going on right now.
Ooh.
So, in the sense that there's this movie going around called Bird Box.
Okay.
And I know Chance refused to watch it, but I know you did watch it,
Yep.
and I watched it.
I watched it Christmas Eve to avoid talking to my family.
Who wouldn't?
I was like, I'm watching a movie.
You literally just sat in your room the whole time?
Oh, yeah.
Wild, Lucas, wild.
It happens.
Let's just have a little conversation about what did you think of the movie?
Okay. So, I watched Bird Box because it's all over Facebook. All right? Everyone was talking about this. Was like I said before Christmas, this is the scariest movie of all time. I can't even finish this movie. I had to leave the room. I had to turn it off. It's so scary. So I'm a big scary movie guy.
People were actually saying that?
Oh, it was all over. It was the most terrifying movie ever.
Wild. Those people must have watched Teletubbies all their life.
Yeah, I don't understand. Anyway, I love scary movies, so like, all right, it's gonna be lit. And it has Sandra Bullock, big Sandra Bullock guy. Who isn't? Great actress. So I watched it. So I'm assuming everyone knows what it is, or at least heard of it, have seen it.
Spoilers. Well, we'll go into spoilers. I'm going
Yeah,
to spoilers
spoiler alert.
right now.
Spoiler alert. We're going to talk about it, so skip through this or just stop listening.
But make sure you like, subscribe, YouTube, all that good stuff.
So it's kind of a mix between a Quiet Place, The Happening, The Mist, like all these suspenseful. You can't go outside. You can't make a noise. You can't look at it. So all that shit. So this one, you can't look at it, or it makes you kill yourself in some crazy fashion. So the movie, it's good. I'm just gonna say it's good, and that's it. Like, it wasn't scary. Like, it's literally not a scary movie. If anything, it's a thriller and suspenseful.
Yeah, I'd go more thriller than I would scary.
It's not scary or terrifying.
I mean, it depends. Yeah, no, I'd go with.
Like, it's still suspenseful. Like, some of the deaths, the suicides, they were pretty intense. Like, it was made well. Like, it's like, I guess you could say that's kind of scary. Like, seeing people like burn themselves in car fires and shit.
So what was the premise of the whole movie, Lucas? Why?
The premise is...
you didn't really tell anything about the plot. You just went straight into it.
Well, I'm just talking about it.
I guess. I'm sorry. I apologize.
So, for some reason, like I said, if you look at these monsters, it makes you want to kill yourself. It doesn't explain what the monsters are, where they came from. But this woman, she was with her sister when it happened. The sister killed herself because she saw the monster. She finds this refugee, these people trying to avoid this thing. So they're just held up there. There's a bunch of drama in the house. They're trying to figure out what's going on. They're trying to figure out what it is. Eventually, at one point, it goes to like 5 years later in the future or something. So now there's two kids because she was pregnant. So she had a kid, and there's another kid that she took care of because the other mother died. So now they're living with like a boyfriend or whatever. They're surviving, like I said, for years. And then they hear about this refugee camp, and it's down this creek or this river like for days, maybe even weeks. You have to float down this river. And this whole time, you can't look. So they're all blindfolded. Yeah, so it's just basically about that. I'm not going to... You can watch the very ending, but...
Oh, see, I was going to talk about the ending, so I was probably going to spoil it.
Oh, and then you can talk about it. But like I said, it was a good movie for a Netflix movie. Like, if it was in theaters, I'd be disappointed because I'd expect a theatrical movie, like, made more intense. But for what it was, a Netflix thriller, it was good. It wasn't... I'm not saying it's original. Obviously, I know they took ideas from other movies, but it was a good movie.
I'm pretty sure it's a book, isn't it?
I don't know.
Well, okay, so from my perspective, I was not a fan of it. Like, I thought it was okay. It was an okay movie. That's the way I looked at it. I don't know, like, it's a Netflix movie. It's what it is. It's like, you could have... It was a 2-hour movie. You could have done so much worse with your 2 hours, but you could have done probably something a little bit better. You know what I mean?
Like, it's not amazing. It's not bad. Like, I didn't hate it, but it was okay to good at best.
But I really did not. The ending, I think, actually killed it, a lot of it. Like, for me, so much of it is built around the ending. If you can wrap up the movie properly, cool. If you can't, you're going to ruin your whole movie.
Yeah, it felt like a cheap ending. Like, they didn't think about it.
So, like, the ending pretty much ended where... So, pretty much the majority of the movie, it's one big flashback. So, but, like, the current time in the movie, as I say in air quotes, is Sandra Bullock and these two kids going down this river the whole time for, like, 2 days or whatever, where, like Lucas said, they can't look or anything. So, at the end of those 2 days, it ends where, they finally get close. They hear birds. For some reason, birds can detect these things. They can detect, like, these beings or monsters or whatever, and they, like, flip out because of it. So that's how you, like, know. And apparently, do the monsters stay away? Like, that's the one thing they never really specified. That's the other thing.
It doesn't scare them away. It just alerts people nearby so they can close their eyes.
Okay, so see, that's another thing I want to bring up. So what happens is eventually they get to the end, and Sandra Bullock loses track of her two kids. Like, they get separated because monsters are coming out. There's, like, 3 monsters that are coming after them at, like, the end there. So it's, like, this big intense thing. And she ends up finding both of them, and like the monster's telling these kids to like take off their blindfolds. Like,
I mean, I thought that scene was pretty well made.
no, like that was good. Like that, I had no problem with. But like the way it ended was just them running through like this, like these woods, and then eventually they just come to this door, and they're let into the sanctuary. And so you get there, and the sanctuary it's a sanctuary for blind people. So that's how the whole thing, they couldn't see, like they can't see it.
Yeah, it was a home for the blind. So that's how they were able to survive so long, is because these people literally can't get affected by monsters because they don't have vision.
Yeah.
So they're bringing in refugees.
So like that part, okay, I have no problem with that. It's just like, it just seemed like such a cheap, like, oh, there it is. Like, you're being chased, and then just like, oh, you just so happen to get saved last minute. It wasn't like...
It was a very happy ending. Like a Lifetime movie fucking ending.
Yeah, and like, the other thing, like, the pace wasn't right. Like, those monsters are barreling down so quickly on Sandra Bullock and these kids, and then they stood at the door for 30 seconds. Like, if at least, like, one of the kids would have got grabbed or something like that, you know what I mean?
So it's just part of the movie. It was just like, it's just because it's Netflix. It took less time on it, less money, obviously.
And apparently in the book as well, this is the other thing that I wanted to bring up. Apparently in the book, the ending, it isn't a home for the blind. It's actually a group of people who like self-mutilated their eyes to become blind.
I mean, that would work.
That would have been a way cooler ending, to be honest. You know what I mean?
And they would have had to do it for themselves.
Yeah, but
show
like,
that on camera.
You know, sure. I mean, you could have literally just shown like her like putting like a knife in her hand or something like that. You know what I mean?
Pretty sick.
That, but it was a Netflix movie. I would give it like a 5 out of 10. It was a very average movie.
5, maybe 5.5.
If you look at a Netflix factor, it's probably like a 7 out of 10 if you go on the Netflix scale.
Yeah. I mean, it's made for the masses, I think.
Yeah, it's very trendy, and now you got the Blind Side Challenge and all that type of hoopla, you know? And then, Lucas, why don't you tell us a little bit about You?
All right, so there's this series. It's like a show or something. It's called You. Penn Badgley.
No, wait. I want to know about you, Lucas, the person.
No, I'm not talking about myself. That's you don't want to hear that. Yeah, the show. I'm not even gonna give too much away because it's still brand new. It's about like this dude stalking this chick, and just the crazy stuff that he's capable of. But it's very well made for a Netflix show. I was surprised. Like, it's legit. Like, the acting's phenomenal. Like, it just feels so real. Like, I started watching this last night, like 8:30. They're 45-minute episodes. I watched 6 in a row, and I have to wake up at 4 in the morning. So I didn't get, like, it was worth staying up for.
What time did you go to bed?
It was like close to 1 o'clock.
Wild.
Yeah. So.
Was it worth it? Would you do it again? Are you gonna do it again tonight?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to finish it when I get home. Like, I've been thinking about it all day. I was gonna listen to it at work, like not watch it, just listen to it. I was like, no, I want to watch it. But
you want the experience.
Yeah, like, it's just so good. It's so like intense. Like, there's so much like building up. Like, my anxiety was like through the roof just because like you're just waiting for shit to happen. Like, you know it's about to happen, but like it just draws on, and you're like, just fucking happen already. Like, I was getting so anxious, but like it was like in such a crazy way. It felt so real, and it's just well made. Like, it's like legit. I'm happy I watched it.
So I think it's funny that Netflix can put together shows better than they can movies.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. I'm a big like drama, like romance guy. I love those kind of shit. I'm a big softy for that. And this is just, and it mixes in also like a psychopath aspect. And I'm a big like serial killer guy. I love like true crime. So it's just a great show.
Because you're just a complicated individual.
I'm artistic.
And we love you for that. We love you for that.
Thanks.
Can you say you're autistic?
Yeah. Might as well be.
All right, Lucas, is there anything else on Netflix you want to give a shout out to? Or is those the main things?
I don't watch Netflix much.
What about Hulu or anything?
I don't watch Hulu either. I just literally sit on my chair all day and watch YouTube and Twitch.
And watch The Doc.
My man.
The Doc. Have you stream sniped him yet, Lucas?
No, I keep thinking about it every day. I'm like, oh, I keep forgetting to stream snipe him.
Dude, do it on the weekend and try to get that
I'm gonna clip
video.
it, yeah.
And then we can place it to the masses.
It'll be out there.
All right, Lucas. Well, hey, I think we managed without. We managed without.
We missed him. He was a missed factor, but we got through it.
He's definitely missed. Hopefully you guys didn't mind it too much. We know everyone misses Shrek. He's the beauty in this podcast with his ASMR type voice. But he should be back. Yeah, he'll be back for the next one. So until then, thanks for listening. Make sure you check us out at Trash Your Sports on Twitter. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube. Subscribe to us on Spotify. Subscribe to us on Google Play.
Hit us up on the Facebooks. Get in our comment sections. Give us a share.
Like the videos, all that
do.
type of stuff. We really do appreciate it, especially whenever you guys give us feedback. That way we know if we're doing a good job, bad job. You let us know. That way we can make the podcast hopefully a little bit better for everyone. You know what I mean?
Yep. And we're still got a lot of content coming. We got a lot of shit in the works. We're figuring it out. It's gonna be a lit year, 2019 for Trash Deer Radio.
2019, we out here for Trash Deer.
It's the year of the deer.
We're gonna have actually 3 more podcasts. That's what it is. We're just gonna all have a
Stay
podcast.
tuned.
Every day a new podcast. God, that would be horrible.
I wouldn't do it.
No, that would be awful. All right, guys. But until next time, thanks for listening.
Have a great day.